Hello, Ankit. Welcome to CGB Mentors. And very much congratulations for clearing RBI Grade B examination. So, how are you feeling about it?
Yeah. Hello. Thank you so much. Very good evening. And the feeling has started to sink in a little bit because now the mark sheets and everything has come out. So I think the feeling has started to sink in a little bit. So yeah, I'm feeling very good actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, we have seen your DAF and you have had a fair long journey of the RBI prep,
Correct.
right? So,
Yeah.
just take us through your journey.
Correct. Sure. So yeah, my journey with RBI, my trust with RBI basically started in 2022. And so I would just give a brief background of myself, like of
For
my
sure.
education. So I did my engineering, civil engineering. Post that, I did my MBA in finance, and I worked with two multinational banks for quite some time. And post that, I started this preparation. And if I had to mention where this came from, there are two major sources. One would be my one of my teachers during MBA. He used to push us very much towards Indian banking and how regulators impact our lives. So that was one source. And the second source was an interview which I saw on your platform around 2021, 2022. I think he was a topper named Mr. Aniket. I don't remember the full name, but that was an interview because he had a profile very similar to mine. So these were the two things which moved me towards this. And then I started my preparation in 2022. Uh, Talking about my preparation phase, sorry if this answer becomes a bit long, but yeah.
No, no, we are happy to hear.
Yeah, sure. So when I started in 2022, basically I would say I was very clueless. I did not know very much about banking preparation because I had not been into this phase. So I scanned everything in YouTube. So any my recommendation to anyone starting off is take your time to first clarify your sources or what other people have already done. It gives you a fair idea, even though everybody's journey and preparation would be different, but it gives you a fair idea. So first take your time, take 15 days, 20 days, even 1 month, and find out what are the better sources for the preparation. Phase one, phase two, it should be a combined preparation. So for me, 1 month I took for this only. I found out the sources, whether what are the different kinds of courses which are available. So at that time, I took CGB ka course for phase two. Phase one, I did completely through multiple free resources. And my strategy basically was I understood that these exam is dominated by two types of aspirants. One is banking aspirants, the other is UPSC. So I wanted to see what would be my strength, where should I play. So I saw that quants reasoning English, quants reasoning, I cannot compete very much with the banking aspirants. I thought I would focus more on GA, and that is what I did. And my scores throughout the 3 years of my preparation have been quite good. So that is where I focused, and that is where I would also want other aspirants to focus because that is 80 marks out of 200, and that has a major role to play in phase two. So that is how my preparation started. In first attempt in 2022, I cleared the phase one. In phase two, I missed by 3.5 marks. In my second attempt in 2023, when I was very confident and booming, I thought this is my year. I would completely clear it. And then I was given a shocker. I missed the phase one cutoff, sectional cutoff by zero point 0.5 marks in reasoning, even though my marks overall were 30 marks above the overall cutoff. So that was a rude shocker, but that also gave me a very big learning that no matter what, how much you prepare, there is also uncertainty factor. We have to take that into account and keep doing whatever our actions are in our hand, and leave the other things to the universe. And fortunately, in my third attempt in 2024, when I saw the mark sheet, I think it was a redemption, because when I missed the phase one cutoff in 2023, it was by zero point 0.5 marks. In this attempt, phase two, I have cleared the cutoff by zero point 0.5 marks. So I think that marks came in here, and thankfully I have cleared it. So yeah, this is all about my journey of 3 years with the
Great. So there are so many questions that I would like to ask
Sure.
based on your long answer. Number one is, let's start in a very structured manner.
Correct.
Everybody would want to know that, see, what I understand about this exam is that there is a certain level of depth you should go in, right? So for phase one, and specifically as you mentioned that you were really good in GA, right? So what was going on in your mind? How many months you prepared the GA for, right? And apart from that, how did you limit yourself that I should not go beyond a certain point? So these are my questions from you.
Correct. A very reasonable question. First of all, I would like to say I'm not very good at GA, but yeah, I prepared according to the needs of the examination.
Okay.
Secondly, yeah, as you asked, how do you limit yourself? So see, when we start preparing, we think we have to cover everything under the sun, and I don't think that approach works. Might work for somebody, but it does not work for me, because I think we have finite space in our minds. We have to
Hmm.
optimize what we can do. So,
Hmm.
talking about how many months and all I prepared, for 3 years straight, I have used one source, which is Affairs Cloud. 3 years straight, I
Hmm.
have done it by writing, because I am not able to recall by seeing the text, so many G information. So 3 years straight, I have done it by writing 1 hour every day. So that has been my primary source. Along with that, I used RBI circulars ka PDF of CGB and other institutes, along with PIB. So if I talk about months, if whenever your phase one is, the last 3 months is the most important. That is very clear. Seeing the past 3 years trend, past 3 months is very important, but you need to be updated. You cannot just straight in jump in and expect that 3 months mein kar lunga aur ho jayega. That is not how it works, as per my understanding. So you have to at least have keep a cushion of 4 months. And seeing the uncertainty, you never know when the notification comes, so you should always be in touch. But when you get an idea कि टेंडर्स आने लगते हैं, then you should get in full swing, and तब GA full swing से करना है. RBI circulars and reports, I think, should be covered for 6 months. Reports, so whatever has been done in the past year, annual report, FSR, and payments report, and any other report of RBI is very important. Along with PIB, I think we can limit to 5 months. 5 to 6 months should be enough. And multiple people have started using doing PIB directly. I think it is very cumbersome, and you should rather go for optimize your preparation, and you cannot just burden yourself with everything. I think that can be optimized. And for schemes, I focused on flagship schemes along with schemes in news. I did not do every scheme under the sun. So this is my
Okay.
approach. Yeah, I think I
Okay.
answered most of it. Yeah.
Yeah, great. So one more thing, there is very, what you can say, hue and cry about quant and reasoning,
Okay.
right? Being the hurdle in phase one. So, and as also I can remember vaguely that you mentioned that you cannot compete with banking crowd. So you are the eligible candidate to answer what shall be the strategy for content reasoning.
Okay. I think for content reasoning, there is only one way out. You have to get your hands dirty. You have to do the practice. Practice is the
Yes.
only way to go. And there are two parts of practice. First, you have to clear the basics. And second, you have to go about giving mocks on a regular
Yes.
basis. There is no other way around for content reasoning. Even though you have to only clear the sectional, but you cannot be overconfident on only any section. Like as per of my understanding, my quants is reasonably fine. But even though this year I just cleared the sectional cutoff, so you cannot be confident on any one section. You have to have all your sections balanced, and the approach has to be first clear your basics, second give your mocks, and even sectional mocks along with full length mocks. So that should be the
Okay.
approach.
So now as phase one part is over, I would
Mhm,
like to ask you that in this entire journey of like
mhm,
3 long years,
mhm.
phase two, you might have prepared well in advance, or what was your strategy for
Correct.
phase two?
In my first attempt, I did this mistake and I did not prepare well for phase two in advance. I prepared after phase one, almost phase one का result के बाद I did very मतलब बहुत ज़्यादा घुस गया था उसमें preparation में. उसके
Mhm.
पहले just basic reading, did not revise much. So that was my mistake in first attempt. Second attempt, I better did, but I did not get a chance to participate in phase two. So what my approach or why my recommendation would be to people is फेज टू प्रिपरेशन हैज टू बी बिफोर योर फेज वन का एग्जाम हो जाने से पहले ही आपको प्रिपेयर करना है एटलीस्ट फाइनेंस एंड मैनेजमेंट बिकॉज ईएसआई मोस्ट ऑफ इट इज नॉट स्टैटिक most of it is dynamic, so as long as you're doing keeping up with the GA it should work, but ideally you should also complete ESI ka static beforehand because as I also discussed with you initially that phase 1 and phase 2 have become intertwined, so your preparation
Yeah.
cannot be single pronged. So I think it
Okay.
should be in advance and not after phase one or just before phase one. Phase one, I just wanted to add that phase one is a screening test. So one or 1 month or 1.5 month before you cannot focus on phase two. You have to completely shift your focus on phase one. So phase two has to be done in advance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any specific sources for ESI, finance, and management that you would like to mention?
Yes. So for me, I for finance and management, I have used CGP notes very extensively. Along with that, there are other free sources on YouTube available. Like for management, there is Dr. Amit Lal. He has very good extensive sessions for this, so you can utilize that as well. Or management and financially, I found CrackGradeB also very useful. And
Mm-hmm.
ESI though is very dynamic, so I don't did not think any course material compensates with that. So you have to be intertwined with the examination.
Okay. Regarding the static part, also, as you have mentioned, there is a
Mhm.
thing that people think that if they are doing something, they have this FOMO kind of thing, that they are missing out on something, right? And there is always the fear, ki what if even if we have read the first layer, we have to go deeper and we have to dig and we have to find out the second layer. So how did you manage that particular thing? And what is the advice that you would like to give to others also?
Correct. So I think there is no cure for FOMO. You cannot cure FOMO for people. It gets cured itself when you get the learning. So for me, the approach basically for static management, I had a brief background of finance. I did MBA in finance, so I had a brief F&M was fine with me. ESI was where I struggled a bit, and there I had to put in some hours. So that is where the major issue for me came. And for everyone, I would want to recommend that first of all, you should need to see the previous year question. Like if you see this year's questions, things were completely different from last year. Earlier, people used to target F&M that वहाँ पे 40, 45 इधर इतना marks ले आएंगे and it would balance ESI. Now, when you see this paper, you know that there is a lot of uncertainty. You have to be prepared well for all the sections equally. And as you asked that how much in depth you should go, I think there is no definition of how much in depth you should go, but at least you should cover the syllabus as per RBI take the RBI syllabus printout and focus on that topic by topic. Use Chat GPT, use the courses, use whatever free materials available. And once you have done it for a sufficient number of time, you get the depth because you cannot keep on digging until you find something, find the goal. And even though if you do that, it does not mean that you would be successful completely. So I think there has to be a certain clarity on that.
Yeah, good suggestion. I hope people will follow that. And also, one more thing, because it is in relation to phase two itself, that how did you manage the descriptive part? What were
Okay.
the number of mock tests that you gave in and
Mhm.
all of that? I would like to
Okay.
know that.
See, I am not someone who's very preachy. I want to be very honest, and for me, I did not practice very much for descriptive part. I'll be very honest, because there are multiple reasons for that. First, I think my English is quite is average, so I thought that I have a good command over grammar and spellings. First of all, that is one
Mm-hmm.
major aspect of descriptive writing. Secondly,
Mm-hmm.
I am a working aspirant, so I
Mm-hmm.
am in a habit of typing. So there is a sufficient speed which I have gathered, and because my work is intertwined with the financial industry, so I keep using those terms. I have typing those kind of things and reading.
Mm-hmm.
Moreover, reading because I have a habit of newspaper reading for around 10-15 years. So that I
Mm.
think subconsciously has really helped me. So for me, I did not have a very clear strategy for descriptive writing, very honestly, but I did before, after phase one, I wrote around 10 to 15 answers. That was my practice. Except that I did not
Okay.
do a very regular practice for descriptive, honestly.
Okay. So as you mentioned that you obviously you are a working aspirant. So I would like to ask you that how did you manage the time? What your timetable looked like, right? So just
Sure.
give us a peek through.
Sure. So basically, my working hours are from 10 to 6, and travel takes in around 2 hours, like 1 hour each way. So I am packed from 9 to 7. Post that, mornings are not my forte. Nights are where I used to do my studies. I First of all, as I mentioned, I used to do GA on a regular basis. I utilize my lunch break, half an hour, 45 minutes, whatever was there. I used to do my GA at that time. That was my first thing. I think another reason for doing that is I think it gives you a sense of accomplishment. Even though I could not even get time in the night to study, I would have a sense of accomplishment that मैंने कुछ किया उस दिन. So एक positive reinforcement is very important in this journey. It is not a very easy journey. It looks easy
But it's
afterwards,
not.
but yeah, but it's not. I'm not trying to brag, but very honestly, it's not an easy journey. So you have to give yourself positive reinforcement and have the self belief in yourself that yes, I can do it. I am a good aspirant. I can crack this examination. So that is one. And after coming back from my office after 8:30, I would take a stretch of 3 hours basically because I had a basic preparation done already. So
Yeah.
3 hours would be enough for me. I would do phase two initially, like from for my cycle after December, like when the last cycle ended, December to June, I focused on phase two. May basically, I focused on phase two. Post that, I shifted to phase one preparation. So that
Okay.
was my strategy for this year. But for anyone who is a working or not a working aspirant, I think you should give maximum time. But that does not mean the preparation should engulf your life. You have to have multiple things to do. You cannot just completely do your studies and become unhealthy, and your mental and physical health both gets affected. I think you should have some hobbies, play sports, or interact with friends. It helps you in having a positive environment around. So
Okay.
that is what I would like to
Great. So, Ankit, what was your experience during the interview stage? How did you prepare for that? And obviously, some insights about the interview board as well. What were the questions they focused on, right? So, just tell us
say.
about that.
Definitely. Yeah. So yeah, about my interview experience and pre-interview experience, the preparation journey. So the results came out, if I remember correctly, on 14th November for phase two, and post that we had to submit our biodata within 1 week. So that was the major focus at that time. So that was my first focus. I completely filled out my biodata form. And just a heads up, if someone watches it after a year or so, he's preparing for interview, that you should have multiple consultations if you can. If you can show it the biodata to your friends or someone else who you believe or think is a good asset. So it helps because I had used a photo which I showed to one of my friends, and he told that this does not look very professional. Yeah. So I changed that photo, and there were multiple other things which other people helped me with. So I think you should have consultations and help in that. So first was the biodata filling, and by this time it was 21st November, and the interview schedules came out around 22, 23. So उस time schedules आ गए, and I saw on Telegram group that interview schedule are from 2nd December to 9th January or 10th January, and I was very tensed. Reason being, I was getting married on 2nd December.
Oh,
So I thought अगर मेरा interview 2nd December को हुआ, then I am completely done for. So, but luckily, my center was Delhi, and instead of 2nd December, it was 2nd January, and
oh,
yeah, I
great.
got a good 1 month of preparation this time around. So yeah,
Hmm.
and coming back to the preparation. So after coming back to Delhi around 8 or 10 December, I had around 20-25 days. So three things I focused on. First was my work experience. I think that is a major cog in wheel. For a student, I think it should be your educational background that you should focus on. For me, and because I had a work experience, so I focused on my work experience. Second was Indian economy or everything going on in and around the finance industry. So that is the second thing which I focused on. And because I mentioned I had a habit of newspaper reading, so that was taken care of. Third thing was my about RBI. So for that, I used three sources. First, RBI website. Second, RBI YouTube channel. And third was RBI functions and working PDF. These are the three holy grails you can utilize it. And additionally, I had completed done the annual report, at least the financial statements and the summary and other parts. So that I had done very well. So these were the my preparation points. Nothing else I focused on. Along with this, I gave five mock interviews on spaced around 4 5 days, 4 5 days. And the last
Okay.
interview I gave in around 29th. It was with Rahul sir. I think it was a very good interaction because he calmed myself. I was not having a good like was having cold at that time. So he gave me some encouraging words and told me really that really helped me at that time. So I would like to thank him also. I had personally messaged him, and I would like to thank him through this
Great.
medium. So and after that, my interview was on second. So I will. Sorry, my answer again is being very long, but
No, it's fine.
yeah,
We
yeah,
are, I said now we are very happy to hear. And believe me, when you say it's long, that is the intention of this interaction, right? So
correct,
as much as you can share and the fellow students will hear out this and then they'll get motivated about it. So
correct.
that's what the agenda is.
Sure.
So you please continue.
Sure. So yeah, and my interview was on 2nd January. I went there, and when you go at the gate, they will give you a sheet to sign. So on that sheet, my wife was accompanying me. So on that sheet, my name was on the 10th. There were 12 candidates on that day. So I thought it would be third last. And I mentioned that it would third last. You can go and you can come back later. When I went inside, and there was another sheet which I had to sign. There, my name had shifted to the last. So
Oh.
now I was the last candidate in the day, and I had to sit throughout the. There is obviously a palpable anxiety throughout the candidates. Whenever someone comes in, everybody goes around them. What did they ask? क्या पूछा? क्या पूछा?
Yes.
And he is already sweating, and people are going around. And thankfully, I did not do that to another candidate. But people, that is obvious that people go around and he's sweating. He does not want to speak anything. He's sitting completely like that, and people are asking questions. So thankfully, my interview was around 4 p.m. So what happens whenever the second last candidate, the candidate before you goes in, you have to go around and sit in the hall. So I went there, and till then I was a bit anxious to say, and already had cold, so I was drinking hot water. So I was a bit anxious. Then, just when the candidate comes out, you have to go stand outside that room. So when I stood outside that room, the I was still anxious, but then there was a small glass in that door, and through that I could see the interview panel, and I could see them laughing. And when I saw them smiling and laughing, that tension eased. I think whatever happens, happens. I have prepared, I have done my part, and whatever now happens, happens. So that calmed me. And then I went inside. And if I talk about my interview, it was completely around my work experience. I did
Okay.
not sway very vaguely in direction, this or that direction. If I had to mention certain aspects, it would be around my company's balance sheet. They asked about that. Then there were questions around risk weight increase for NBFCs because my company is an NBFC. So from bank to NBFC lending, there was a risk weight increase and multiple questions on that. Then because I had done asset liability mismatch is my profile. I worked in that sector. So there was a question around Silicon Valley Bank. What happened
Okay.
in that? There was a detailed discussion on that. And one other question which I remember and which was asked in a mock interview by I think Harish sir, was around Viksit Bharat because we are in infrastructure. So Viksit Bharat, what are the aspects? what is the technical definition of a developed country, how long would India take, what is current GNI per capita, those kind of questions. So this was my interview experience and my preparation. So
Oh,
yes,
great, great. So we have got so many insights from you. And
mhm,
obviously, from your journey, I can take out some points that I can take out is be consistent,
correct.
be what you can say, very, very dedicated towards whatever you are doing. Because
Mhm.
I can feel you when you are studying in the lunch breaks. That shows the ultimate level of dedication. So, congratulations to you.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations for a very bright future in RBI,
Thank you.
right? And thank you so much for talking to
Thank
us
you.
today.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much.